YouTube. Here are your stock price predictions for Sofi, looking into the week of December 9th through the 13th. Now, I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Please hit that thumbs up as we continue to grow the channel. I greatly would appreciate it. So let's get straight into it, guys. So Sofi is what we're going to be talking about in this video. And this thing just keeps on pumping, right? Good news. So I'm gonna go out on a record and bring this thing out from a little bit further of a distance, right? And so we can see at one point we were kind of testing $16 and about 50 cent, ultimately touching 16.61 a couple of times before we got rejected. It looks about, I don't know, 3 or 4 times, and then we kind of came down to about $16. So this week, what we want to see is if we can go back and retest $16 and about 50 cent if we're going to continue this short-term run to the upside. Now, there's a couple of different things that we're going to have to talk about in order to kind of see if that's something we'd be able to obtain this week. And the first thing we need to talk about is the economic calendar for this week, okay? So as you guys can see, we've got CPI numbers coming out on Wednesday, all right? So this obviously, for those of you guys that don't know, is going to measure the consumer price index, which is one of the indicators that the Federal Reserve likes to look at to kind of gauge what to do with interest rates, especially in the times we're in now as we work on getting a handle on inflation. Now, along with that, we've got other things going on as well, and ultimately we come down to PPI. Now, usually PPI doesn't have as much weight as CPI would, but there's also more to it. We've got jobless claims we need to look at, and so it's pretty much set and done to what we're gonna do with interest rates on the 18th. But this week should pretty much give us that promising indicator of what the Fed could potentially do. And as of right now, we can see that the federal funds rate is sitting at 450 to 475. And so we've got an 85% chance that they are going to reduce interest rates by 0.25%, or also known as 25 basis points. And so you're probably wondering, if you're new to this channel, what all of that has to do with Sofi. So Sofi, for those of you that don't know, alongside of the different partnerships that they have going on, interest rates are really have been very beneficial to Sofi. So the more interest rates go down, the higher the price for Sofi. And there's been some talks around Wall Street about Sofi being inducted into the S&P 500. And if we think about some of the stocks that we've seen be inducted this year, like let's say Palantir, for example, these stocks have absolutely exploded. And so I would expect nothing less than that from Sofi, as they are a fintech company. So not necessarily solely focusing on financials, but also tech as well. When we think about what they can do with their technology to kind of cipher out, you know, good consumers to do business with, especially with borrowing money, right? So that's kind of where we sit with Sofi. Now, I mentioned where we would be looking to the upside. I think this week we have the potential of really turning $16 into a strong level of support, and then ultimately maybe we go on to retest 1660. If we break up past 1660, obviously we'd be looking at $17, but according to history, all right, we would be looking at about $17 and about 37 cent, 32 cent, give or take, would be that next leg up after $17. So it remains to be seen which direction we're gonna go. But if we're gonna continue up, we definitely have the chance of seeing $17 the way this stock has been moving. Now, if we're going to retrace to the downside for whatever reason, right? Because this market has just been running and running and running. And so, at some point we have to, expect some sort of pullback. So if we were to have a pullback, I'm going to kind of look at this. Well, first of all, we're on the daily chart, but look at the last time we really had a nice red candle aside of near the ranges we are now. Now we're looking at maybe retesting $14 and about 39 cents. And the only reason why I say that is because overall the market, this has been a long time coming, but a lot of speculation and a lot of excitement is still in the air for ending this year off with the Santa Claus rally that we've come accustomed to seeing. Now, I'm not going to be so naive to say that this Santa Claus rally has not already happened, right? We've hit new all-time highs when we look at the indices time and time again for this particular year. So if we have a cool-off period, even if it were be for this week and next week, the way these markets have been going, we still have the opportunity of closing this year back around where we are now or even higher. So not necessarily taking that off the table at all. Okay, so really quick, guys, I want to kind of give you guys an update on what's been going on with Sofi. And so this information says this. It says, and this was back towards the middle of last week. It says that Sofi, a member centric one-stop shop for digital financial services that helps members borrow, save, spend, invest, and protect their money, announced access to 3 new private market funds through a relationship with Templum, which operates Templum One, a purpose-built platform for seamlessly accessing and transacting in private alternatives. And then the Cosmo Fund with sole exposure to SpaceX. I know you guys may or may not have been hearing rumors about that, along with 2 additional private equity funds, Pomona Investment Fund and Stepstone Private Markets Fund. Now, in a recent survey of 5,000 retail investors, Sofi found that more than 87% of investors have an interest in investing in privately held companies. And when asked to review a list of the top 10 most valuable privately held companies, OpenAI, SpaceX, and Epic Games ranked as the top 3, validating and increasing interest across broad investor audience. Okay, now I'm going to go into something a little bit different. My apologies, throat got a little bit dry. If I were to be, a new timer getting into SoFi right now, I think I obviously would be, I would be going into this thing selling puts, right? So essentially, when we're looking at selling puts, for me, maybe I would go a month or 2 out, and that way, if SoFi continues to go up, guess what? I get a premium. If it goes down, guess what? I get to buy SoFi at a discount, excluding that premium, right? So that's kind of the way I would be playing SoFi right now. I am bullish on it and still in the short term, obviously in the long term. And you guys know we've been covering this stock when this thing was $5 and some change. So from that perspective, nothing's changed there. But I would be a little cautious. I wouldn't be going in heavy. And if I had to just really get into it where I'm not selling puts, maybe I would do leap options, right? So maybe I'm looking at a deep in the money option contract where I can control 100 shares of SoFi. Maybe I would get in at a strike price between 8 and 9, because let's say, for instance, if it were to fall back to those ranges, I wouldn't really be out that much because of the delta. Along with that, what I would be doing is selling puts. Okay, so I'm sorry, selling calls if I were to get a leap option, right? So what's called a poor man's covered call is what I would be doing to collect the premium every week, even if SoFi was going to be falling. All right. So if you want to know more about how I'll do that, you guys want to see it, let me know. I appreciate you guys, and I'm out. Peace.